My 35F husband, 36M, had a months-long affair with my sister, 20F. Rant. I've posted about this in here before, but ended up deleting the post on day one because my WH found the post. Since I didn't attempt to conceal my name or use a throwaway account, I've since just blocked him and his family, because IDK who else to talk to about this stuff. So here I am again. It's been a little over 3 weeks, and for the most part, friends and family don't check in with me as regularly. I'm tired of thinking about it, tired of talking about it, but also can't get away from it. He moved out the weekend before last, and I'm feeling some relief from not having him in sight all the time. But I'm also overwhelmed with having been thrown into single parenthood so suddenly and unexpectedly. I feel like I don't have the space to grieve properly, because I have the hearts of my children to look after. I got a lot of feedback on my OP, most of it useful and thoughtful, some of it not so much. I'm sure that not everyone who finds themselves reading this post will have also read the last one, but I did want to add a little bit of context for those who did. My husband and sister did not grow up around each other, so I'm not really concerned with the grooming aspect, at least not in a long-term sense. Growing up I lived with my mother, and she lived with our father. She was only 3 when I moved out of the house, 6 by the time he and I got married. However, our being a mill family made visits home infrequent, and even then I'd usually go alone. He likely only ever met her 2-4 times at all before she moved to the same city as late last year. Her version is that she was victimized by him. I know it sounds incredibly shitty to not believe someone claiming to be a victim, so I do want to clarify some things here. 1. I do believe that she is and has been a victim in the many sexual relationships she has had with much older men, and that she seeks these relationships as the result of some deep-seated traumas from her childhood. However, she has always entered into these relationships consensually and has never considered herself a victim of these men. Should the men have been known better? Absolutely. Did they still actively engage in very inappropriate relationships with her, citing her consent as their gross justification? Absolutely. So while, yes, I absolutely believe that my husband was the one who should have been responsible for managing their relationship as the much older player, I also do not believe that she ever felt victimized by him, but now claims to have been to earn my sympathy and forgiveness. His version is that she sought him out even prior to their first exchange, and then began indirectly threatening him that she would tell me if their relationship didn't continue. He was also very drunk the first time. She had had nothing to drink, and according to him, initiated the encounter. Things I do know. She sent a friend request to his FetLife account 5 days prior to the first encounter. She sent a friend request to her Bill's social media account which contained multiple nude photos. I believe she at least fantasized about him, if she didn't actually plan to initiate sexual contact. Will I ever know the full truth of what happened or why? Probably not. IDK if they're both lying or if they both actually buy into the bullshit webs they're spinning. IDK how much it even matters anymore. And IDK how I'll feel in 6 months, or 1 year, or 5 years. But today, right now, IDK how I'll ever forgive either of them for what they've done. Also updated to add, I did tell my children, on the advice of my therapist, because my children were very close with their aunt. This one couldn't be as easily managed by just omitting the why of our divorce, and there was a fear that it would come out later in an uncontrolled way or that I would have to create a story around why their aunt is no longer in their lives. It felt like the only thing to do was to tell them enough of the truth, and it's all just been really hard. Why the truth matters so much. Rant. Despite one Redditor's insistence that I'm just pain shopping, I can't help but want to know everything that happened. Not so much the intimate details of each encounter, but the feelings and motivations on the parts of both my WH and sister. My sister insists that my WH is a sexual predator that groomed and manipulated her, and who was loaning her money while she was out of work and so felt obligated to continue their affair. To be clear, she didn't lose her job until after the first encounter. My WH insists that my sister is basically a sociopath who baited and pursued him, initiated the first encounter, wanted him to leave me for her, and then made subtle threats that she would tell me if the affair didn't continue. It's so difficult for me to believe that either of these people I have loved and known so well are either a predator or manipulative sociopath. They are both coming down hard on me for not believing their individual versions, and really not allowing me all that much grace or understanding when it comes to my inability to detect or know the truth. I think that right now it feels very difficult for me to know how to process everything and begin to heal if I can't even really understand why it all happened in the first place. I'm trying to process the version that is most digestible to me, but that doesn't mean that it is accurate at all. My sister says that she would provide me with any evidence she could and help me to see the full picture. But when I've asked for specific things, she becomes mad that if I need proof I must not believe her. When I ask my WH for details or ask specific questions or even just seem angry in his presence, he tells me that he just can't do this and that I'm rubbing his face in it or making him my punching bag, and keeps making threats to unalive himself. He's been in this shit since January, but as of today I've known about it for less than a month. I'm still just in the earliest stages of processing it at all, of figuring out what my and my children's new lives look like, of learning how to navigate all of the difficult legal stuff I have no prior experience with, of carrying on in my personal and professional lives while simultaneously carrying all of the heaviness of this emotional burden around with me. And still, neither of them seem to understand my anger or inability to trust anything they say. They have centered themselves in this and completely forgotten about what they've done to me and my children and how long our journey to sort out this grief will take. I'm just so angry. I can deal with the sadness, but this rage feels like it might consume me and I don't know what to do with it all. I don't know how to get away from it or endure it. I'm just so exhausted. Update. My 35F husband, 36M, had a months-long affair with my sister, 20F. Need support. It hasn't even been 2 months since I found out, but it feels like it's been 10 times that long. It's already hard to remember the time before all of this. I know it's been recommended that we not go this route, but we've decided to move ahead with divorce proceedings using a mediator only. I do believe that he is genuinely remorseful, and all I want is to do this amicably so that it will have as little impact as possible on the kids. We've come to agreements on everything outlined in the divorce decree documents, and I'm satisfied with the decisions we've made. IDC about entitlement. I just want to be done with it. I'm in therapy and I think it's helping me to process everything, although it does seem like my most difficult days are always the ones following my sessions. I'd really like to go back to talking to my therapist about anything but this, but I know that this part can't be sped up or skipped over. My sister reached out to me after my request that we remain NC. She was blocked everywhere except for my phone number, but has since been blocked there as well. During that brief interaction, she asked if she could contact my children, and I asked that she please not attempt to contact them. She became angry and sent me a pointed message. I didn't respond. A few days later, she sent my mid-list kiddo a request to join a game on Roblox. I missed that one. My kiddo deleted and blocked her from the app, but I'm upset that my sister did not respect my request that they not be contacted. I'm considering filing for a RO, but IDK if it's the right thing. I hate that I'm questioning so many of my choices. I'm not interested in petty revenge or weaponizing my children against her, but clearly asking her is not enough. She has tickets to a concert in our state in August and I'm worried she will attempt to see them somehow. I'm still just sort of emotionally floundering. My emotions are less heightened for sure, and the kids and I just returned from a 4-day trip to the beach and Disney. That helped. I'm not checking in with my family much anymore because I don't want them to have to rehash the same things over and over with me. I know it must be exhausting for them too. I'm just feeling very isolated lately, and I'm not sure how to mitigate that. Thanks for being here. Updated to ADD. I'm so thankful for all of the support and advice I've received here. I wanted to address some of the common responses. My STBXH is not in contact with my sister either. He fully supports the kids remaining NC with her, as it is now known that she is lying in her claim to have been victimized by him. Don't worry, I'm still holding him accountable for the role he played. But knowing what I know now, I'm privy to the more nuanced nature of his role. My state actually offers a protective order against harassment, which varies from a CPORO in that emotional distress is an acceptable reason for applying for one. She has surely caused that for me and them.